Janet grew up in the Bronx and then moved to Brooklyn when she was a kid. Janet spent 12 years with the USA Olympics and the first athlete. Then she was an assistant goalie coach. Then she was a manager and an official. And then she was a doctor and manager of the team. So 12 years. She went to 4 different Olympics, always in a different role. She was already a chiropractor. She set up practice in Manhattan. We used to call her the chiropractor to the stars because she had a lot of the Broadway stars as patients. I actually met Janet in 2009, and she had decided to add network marketing to her chiropractic business. She's so knowledgeable. She has a way of presenting things so that a layman can understand what she's talking about. Just my privilege to introduce to all of you Dr. Janet Shefts.
Thank you, Carrie, for that introduction. The technology that we have now is called vibrotactile technology, and it's a wearable technology. Now, you don't have to remember vibrotactile technology. You just have to remember kind of what it does. And I'll tell you that the idea is not new that something on the skin can help stimulate your nervous system. It's a very old idea. And I don't know if any of you have ever heard of the TENS machines. When you're in pain, they'll sometimes put a TENS machine on you. And that's a form of what they call superficial tactile neurostimulation. Again, nothing you need to know. And now I'm going to stop with showing off with the big words, and I'm going to try to explain it in plain Bronx English, okay? Like Carrie said, I'm from the Bronx, and that's the way I like to break everything down. The patches are a brand new therapy, in my opinion, and this is all my opinion at this point. I believe that we're going to see a lot more of this kind of therapy and treatment, or I don't want to call it treatment because we're not treating diseases. We're just trying to help. It's a tool. Let's call it a tool to help give everybody back their best life, okay? So that they can live their best life, whether it's helping them with pain or with balance or with lack of sleep or many other things. The way I like to explain it is it's kind of like it's a little patch, and it's got a pattern on it. And it's got a pattern that you can feel, tactile. You can feel it with your hands. You can feel it on your skin. You put each little patch has a very specific pattern, okay? And it has been found that when you put a patch on the skin, the nervous system, all the nerves that are in that skin, if you can touch and feel your skin, you know there's nerves there, right? If you scratch yourself, you can feel that everywhere. There are nerve endings. I challenge you to find anywhere on your body, unless you had an injury or scars, that you can't feel a stimulus, okay? So that's how many we have, those nerve endings all over our bodies. Now what happens is when we put that patch on, it stimulates the nerve endings and it sends a signal up to the brain, actually to the brain stem, which is in the back of your neck right here. And in the brain stem, that signal gets sorted out before it actually gets up into the big brain. Okay, this is, again, you don't need to know this part, but I kind of think it's good to understand it. You don't have to say this to anybody else. But when you put that patch on, you're stimulating the nerve endings in the skin that get transmitted up into the brain and helps the brain to untangle or get the signal. Okay, so many people are saying we have one particular patch called the Liberty patch. And it's the very first one that I feel like everyone should wear every day. And the Liberty patch is like the base, okay? That's the one that opens up all the channels. We have tens and tens of thousands of nerve endings and nerves going through our body every which way. Think of fiber optics. But another way to explain it is, if any of you have ever used a computer and it got stuck, right? And if it wasn't a Mac, if it was a PC, the only way you could unstick it is by hitting 3 keys, Control, Alt, Delete. When you hit those 3 keys, what you're doing is you're rebooting the system. It's all those wires and conduits in that computer they've gone a little bit haywire, right? So by hitting Control Alt Delete, you're stopping the transmission through those areas and you're letting the whole thing, what we call reboot. If you think of it, the Liberty patch is the one that reboots our system. Okay? It clears all the channels, it clears all the tangledness that happens in all those wires that are throughout our body. Nerves, I doubt any of you have actually seen what a real nerve looks like. In my training I have, and the biggest nerve, the widest one, is about that wide, and that's like a fiber optic cable, because within there it has a whole bunch of little stringy nerves that go everywhere. That would be your sciatic nerve, and that goes down your body. So if you have low back pain and you put a Liberty patch on, it's what it's going to do is it's going to untangle and unencumber the nervous system and allow the signals to go back up to your neck, okay, to the base, to the brainstem. And that's where it gets all sorted out, goes to the brain, and then it tells the body to reboot itself, okay? So basically we have the Liberty patch, which is the rebooting process. And then we have the other patches like the Freedom patch or the Defend patch. So once you reboot and there's clear channels, then you put those other patches on. They have different patterns, and you stick that patch on the skin. That pattern then talks to the nerves and goes right up to the receptors for what it's supposed to go to, whether it's a pain receptor in the brain, or if it's a skin receptor, or if it's an illness, or if it's some kind of inflammation. And basically every ailment that we have, every pain we have, is based on inflammation. Whether you know it or not, there's something called silent inflammation that's accumulating within our bodies. And if we can't wrangle that, our health will diminish, our potential for health will diminish. So we want to get rid of all that inflammation. So you put the Liberty patch on first, and then whatever other patch you want to address. And we have 11 other patches. I'm wearing a focus patch right now because I was nervous about this, and I haven't been able to focus very well. It's like the iOS system in your Mac computer, okay? That's what the patches are. They're like the applications, okay? The first one is the Liberty. Always use the Liberty every day, and then whatever else you need to augment.